to that. Try to put them on the spot so they can't weasel out of owning the responsibility for the decisions they made.
Right.
They can't blame it on, impersonal forces, and don't let them increase taxes. There are plenty of places any government can cut besides public safety and avoid tax increases.
And
so
like
don't
what?
let them get away with that.
Give us some suggestions.
Oh,
Where?
well, I mean, every city and county government is involved in all kinds of programs that are nowhere near as essential as police. I mean, you've got all kinds of special interest programs.
Yeah.
Libraries serve their purpose. Everything serves its purpose. There's always an advocate for them, but there's a lot of stuff. And so some things local governments do just don't need to be done. Other things can be trimmed back and can be made to be more competitive and be more efficient. Everywhere else in the economy, costs don't go up every year. Only in government does the cost of doing everything increase every year. In the rest of our economy, everything gets cheaper every year
because there's competition.
Because there's competition.
Exactly.
So competition is a big way. They need to integrate competition in how they deliver as many services as possible. That keeps the costs down and keeps them from having to raise taxes.
What about outsourcing some of those things instead of having it under the umbrella of government, having it be more competitively bid on a contract basis? Would that be acceptable?
That's what I mean by competition.
I see.
Yes,
I see.
Start, let the folks who are doing it for government now compete against the private sector to see who can do it most efficiently.
Right.
The other thing is, it's amazing how much property, and I mean property broadly defined, not just land, how much stuff local governments own, that because it doesn't show up on their books, it's not a liability, they never think about it. But they own all kinds of land, they own all kinds of buildings, they own all kinds of equipment that they're not using, and they have no system for knowing what it is or selling it. And so, if suddenly you have to put $40 million into the pension system, and so we're going to have to raise taxes, they might have $100 million worth of excess land lying around, but no one knows about that, no one's looking at it, and they're not even consider selling that to make up the difference.
So when we as the ordinary taxpayer citizen goes to these open referendums, the open discussions, the public meetings, exactly, then these are the kinds of things we should have on our list.
Yes.
Let's talk about what are we doing with this and how are we doing that, and have you considered this kind of thing, and get it on the record.
Right. And the policy study we did on pensions called the Rising Pension Storm, one of the things it does is it details in the back, here's how to fix future pensions, here's things you can do about the current pension system, and here's alternative ways of dealing with the budget so you don't have to raise taxes. So we give people all three pieces so they can go to the city council meeting or the board of supervisors meeting and say, no, you should be doing this, this, and this.
And so where again? Tell us again where we can get that.
That's on reason.org.
That's on reason.org.
Yeah.
Love that website. I'm going to be on that website more often than not anymore these days.
It's new and improved, too.
Is it new and improved?
Yes.
It looks great, because when I knew we were going to be here filming, I actually went to the website to educate myself on what the Reason Foundation does. I think it's just fabulous. It's really great. And the fact that Mr. Poole is still so active in his foundation is great.
It's kind of great. He started this thing 30 some years ago, and or helped start it, and has worked ever since. And a few years ago, he stepped down as CEO of the organization, and because his real passion is transportation. That's what he's always loved: aviation and road transportation, and solving those problems. And so now that's what he does. He focuses on that. He lives in Florida now.
I see.
We're a very virtual organization. Most of the people that work at Reason don't live in LA where the headquarters is. We're all over the country.
That's great.
And,
that's the way to do it.
So he does transportation, and he makes a lot of good stuff happen there.
Well, that's great. How long have you been with the organization?
I've been here 9 years now.
Wow. So. Ooh, 9 years, you say.
Every time I think about it, it's a year later.
Well, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you so much for all the information on pension and on Reason Foundation. It's one of those hidden little secrets that we have that really everyone should know about, and I'm glad to be exposing that on this particular show. Thank you, Adrian Moore, for being on the show. And if you have any more questions about the Reason Foundation, please visit reason.org. And of course, the Libertarian Party would love to tell you more about what the Libertarian Party stands for. You can get a hold of us on our website at www.lp.org or 1-800, Mark, what is it?
Elect Us.
Elect Us. That's right, 1-800-ELECT-US. So we'll see you next time on the Libertarian Alternative. Bye now.
Party. Today's guest is David Knott of the Reason Foundation, and you are the director, executive director, or the president of the Reason Foundation. Now, explain quickly to our viewers what the Reason Foundation is and what does it do?
The Reason Foundation is committed to libertarian ideas, and we do journalism and public policy research to help inform journalists, policymakers, and opinion leaders and get them to use more of these ideas.
Okay, so this is done by sending out, we have a magazine, which is another wing of the Reason Foundation, and they have a magazine called Reason that sits on a newsstand, probably.
You can see it at Borders, Barnes & Noble, Reason Magazine, magazine of free minds and free markets.
And they have a website, and then of course your website is reason.org,
right,
which is a nonprofit educational 501c3 organization.
That's right.
And you issue policy papers that you attempt to and do have published in newspapers around the country, periodicals.
We produce our own research, and we also write for publication in newspapers.
Websites.
All of we like to be everywhere.
Email, and you also send these published reports to politicians, Congress, senators, people in office to try to influence them. Here's the issue, and here's some concrete research that really shows where we should go on this.
Absolutely, and just recently, our transportation director was invited to Capitol Hill to testify on airport security and how it's poorly done and could be better. And our environmental correspondent went and testified on environmental policy. So we engage the policy process as well.
I believe I saw the article on transportation in a reference to Reason magazine and some research you had done, or the Reason Public Policy Institute on the cover, on the front page, lead story in the LA Times a while ago, and that was Mr. Robert Poole, who was the founder of the Reason Foundation. So where is the research? Where can you find the research showing that medical marijuana actually has medical benefits? Where can you find that?
The place I would start would be the 1999 report by the Institute of Medicine, commissioned by the Office of National Drug Control Policy. So it's the government's own publication that is a survey of the literature and the science on medical cannabis. And the summary of that report is fairly specific as to levels of proof about purported benefits from using medical cannabis.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Don't give up, learn to live. Sure.